Rainbow, where it was just a lot of fun. It was a little bit of comedy. You had Chase and Bad Luck Fale try the finger poke of doom,
Right.
22 anniversary, 22nd anniversary there with their attempt to try to steal the title. They then had a little bit of dissension later on in the match, and that led to the referee getting in their way, where the two men lifted up the referee, and that gave Yano the opportunity to give them the low blow. They had given the grenade launcher to Bushi, who was down, so Yano swooped in, stole the pin, and once again, he is the KOPW 2021 this time. So he has two trophies to start off the new year. I gave this match 2.5 stars. It was just fun. It was comedy, a little bit better work than the Rambo yesterday, but so I had a little bit of fun, but just a just good nature start to the show. Jay News, what was your thoughts?
I'm with you on that one, man. It was just a fun match to watch. Uh, at the end of the day, I think we all called Toru Yano winning this match here. I believe that the King of Pro Wrestling Provisional Championship belongs to him until they want to do something different with it. Just fun. I was a little surprised because Bushi does good comedy and stuff, that Bushi was kind of like off to the side during the match, and a lot of the match was just Toru Yano and the Bullet Club guys. But it was still a fun match. There goes that building the dissension within the Bullet Club to start the night was a little bit of some foreshadowing that had to start the night for the way that it ended. For those who like to throw up the too sweet, wasn't the best night at all. But hey, comedy is a good way to start the night.
What was your star rating?
I gave it a solid 2.5 as well. Fun match to watch, so it was cool.
How about you, StatKing?
I also gave this 2.5 stars. This was a testament to Gato's knowledge of, if you want a show to succeed, you start off with Toru Yano winning a match. And that's just, night one, he comes in, he mops everybody up, he does what needs to be done, he wins the match. Night two, does the same thing all over again. 2.5 stars for a nice way to wake everybody up.
Yes, a decent start to the show. We got our laughs in with Toru Yano. We moved on to the second match on the show for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. It was the Suzuki-Gun tag team of El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru versus Master Wato and Ryusuke Taguchi, with Hiroshi Tenzan in their corner. This one was a very solid worked match between the junior heavyweights, Kanemaru and El Desperado, using their little tricky ways to kind of get the advantage. In this one, you had Taguchi working well. I will say right off the bat, I feel like Master Wato took a step back. I know you, J News, have been heading up the bandwagon as far as promoting the way to the Grandmaster, but he just felt a little bit out of place here in the Tokyo Dome. Showed the lack of experience, but still solid work from all four guys. But he had a little bit of misstep and mistimed spots. In the end, it was Despy who hit the closed fist and Pinche Loco to retain the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles for his team in 13 minutes. This was a nice little tag team match, and I gave it 3 stars. How about you, StatKing?
I gave this one about 2.75, 2 2.75. I don't know why I'm saying 2.75, but 2 2.75. It is early, folks. But because it was about that for me, because I don't know, I think it wasn't just Wato that felt out of place to me. It was also Taguchi. I don't know. This team to me felt not organic, and yeah. I don't know, and just they felt out of place just being in there with the champions. It felt as though it was another one of those situations where, like Hiromu and Phantasmo yesterday, they kind of needed a match to have on the card, and so they were saying, all right, we'll give you these guys. And Kanemaru's coming back off of that injury, isn't he?
Yeah.
So it was good to see him back in the ring, but it just, something about it just felt off to me.
How about you, J News?
The only thing I would have to say is that I think they tried to to cover within action to start the match, right? With when Wado started off hot. Obviously they gave him new ring gear with new ring gear entrance and stuff like that, which is cool, which is a step up from what he was wearing before. So that's a plus for Wado there. But I agree with you guys. It did seem like the match was a bit like a fish out of water here, just because I know that the whole way to the Grandmaster theme for Wado, having these different coaches or mentors with Tenzan and now Taguchi to teach him ways to go about and win and eventually succeed in New Japan. It didn't mesh in this particular match, so I can't disagree there. I gave this same thing as StatKing 2 3/4 stars, just because it was solidly worked. Don't get me wrong. It just seemed like the match was a throw-in, which isn't usually a case when it comes to Wrestle Kingdom matches. So that's the only thing that I would have to say about that. Hopefully they'll have something new for Wado to do, unless they're going to continue to carry this whole premise of him having to be coached up and mentored by the elder statesman in the roster.
Yeah, and I get with New Japan, they like to book their cards where it gets, more revved up as the show goes on. But I would say I kind of agree with you guys overall with the first two matches on this card. It didn't feel like Tokyo Dome, Wrestle Kingdom type matches. Like I felt like if you took those two matches out and kind of like put Ospreay and Okada and Naito and Ibushi from night one on this card, you have the perfect wrestling card you have ever seen in your life. But just having that type of build up, I know that's how New Japan traditionally does it, but it made it kind of disjointed. And I think that it was kind of similar to what we were talking about on day one, where the first couple of matches were kind of just there, and then the latter half of the card was the ones that carried it more.
I didn't catch a lot of the Road to Wrestle Kingdom shows. Was there actually some kind of story behind why it was Taguchi and Wado, or just
it was loosely thrown together within that 3-show span, because obviously Wado had just come off of the Best of Super Juniors tournament or whatever the case is, and his strong showing there, and Taguchi seems to be, he's getting older and he's more or less on his way out. So they paired them two together, especially because they knew Kanemaru was coming back from injury and things of that nature. And it just, and I understand, like I said before, I understand them having to fill the void of a match during Wrestle Kingdom, but with Desperado coming off of the showing that he just had in the Best of Super Juniors tournament, I thought it was a little bit. It was just, a step back. It was a step back for him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think he deserved a little bit more going into Wrestle Kingdom and stuff like that. I am super aware that they do not like three-way dance matches, but I think it should have been some sort of thing where Desperado was involved in that Junior Heavyweight Championship match somewhat in Wrestle Kingdom, just because it would have added something extra to it. In my opinion, either be it a night 1 and night 2, or I would say night 2 even, because they could have done something different from a tag team perspective on night 1 or whatever have you. So it was a step back for Desperado in my personal opinion, and like StatKing said, it was good to see Kanemaru back in the ring, moving around well, because the first couple of matches I saw him back in, he didn't seem 100%, but in this match he was moving around well, and he was back to his ways and stuff like that. So first two matches slow start, but it revved up here.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get getting them on the card because Desperado
Yeah,
does deserve a spot on the card,
sure.
and I think that it fit with the junior heavyweight title to do the BOSJ
Sure, yeah.
winner versus Super J Cup winner, then versus the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion on night two. I would have actually preferred them throw a third team into this match, and at that third team, I would have picked Show and Rocky Romero because
Sure.
you have the built-in story of Roppongi 3K relinquishing the titles, and the natural person to replace Yo is Rocky Romero. I understand you like him on commentary, and don't get me wrong, he's a great color commentator. He's really grown into the position, but he also deserves a spot on the card
Yeah.
sometimes, and most definitely Show is one of the more interesting guys, especially in the junior heavyweight division. He deserved his spot on this card, and I wish they would have done that. That probably would have been my way to kind of give this match a little bit more juice. But I totally agree with you, Jay News. The Show most definitely picked
Oh
up from
man.
here. We got an
Jeez.
extreme shot of adrenaline on the third matchup, as it was Shingo Takagi defending the NEVER Openweight Championship against Jeff Cobb of the Empire. Cobb gained this opportunity by pinning Takagi in the World Tag League 2020, and this matchup just almost immediately like picked up. It started off with a strong lockup. Then the two guys were exchanging forearms. They went into a very fast sequence from there where Cobb landed a drop kick, sending Shingo to the floor, and then he hit a ridiculous belly to belly suplex on the floor that he just launched to Shingo Takagi. And Shingo Takagi is a big boy. He's 220 pounds, but that's a big 220 pounds. And Cobb just threw him like he was Marco Stunt. It was just ridiculous. You had Cobb doing like razor edges. You had Shingo Takagi with the Tope Con Hero from
Yeah.
the inside the ring to the floor. You had a spin cycle by Cobb. Cobb with the moonsault fall away slam. That was ridiculous. You had Cobb at one point was bleeding from the nose. Shingo was just selling like he couldn't open his eyes. You had in the end it was Cobb getting hit with the pumping bomber, but not going down. And then Shingo himself hits a moonsault power slam, then hits another pumping bomber where he turns Jeff Cobb inside out, and then he finally hits the Last of the Dragon for the win in 21 minutes. I originally gave this match 4.5 stars on my review on Sportskeeda Wrestling. I also originally gave Ospreay and Okada 4.75 on my review on Sportskeeda Wrestling, and I think I would probably go back and watch it again and say that was a 5-star matchup. But I'm gonna definitely on this roundtable give it a little bit more for Shingo versus Jeff Cobb. This is 4.75 stars. This was an absolute banger. This was just an excellent heavyweight slugfest that continued to pick up in physicality. Just really awesome stuff. And Jeff Cobb really put on a performance of a lifetime in this matchup. Jay News, what was your thoughts?
So, sir, we're going to coin a phrase that we coined a couple of shows back. This was a CBE certified banger extreme. This match right here. And I never usually do this because I usually wait till the end of what I have to say. This match was a 5-star match for your good brother Jay News. Without a shadow of a doubt, I'll say this, man. And I've been championing Jeff Cobb since he was Matanza Cueto on Lucha Underground. This man is impressive as hell when it gets down to it. That power game, goddamn blessed be that man right there. And Shingo Takagi, bro, there's nothing you can say about Shingo at this point. At this point in the game, if you watch professional wrestling, not sports entertainment, professional wrestling, Shingo Takagi is a consummate professional wrestler. That man knows how to hang with any and every style in that ring. Same goes for Jeff Cobb. This match blew me away because I had already watched night one. Right. And I said to myself, all right, cool. We got God was made. God finally entered the ring at the end of night one. But I hadn't felt that vibrant, like, intensity and violence, right, and power in a match until I watched this match during Wrestle Kingdom. And I was like, who's outdoing these guys after this match? And I was like, and we all know how much I love and obsess over Sonata, but at the end of the day, unless Sonata turns the freaking evil eye, we're not going to get this kind of match out of Sonata and Evil. And I was like, and Ibushi had to turn it up to God level sorts of action in order to get, a higher ranking, which, to spoiler, yeah, he did that. So yeah, man, it was awesome, bro. I usually have like more descriptive words to describe matches and stuff like that, but the feel I got from beginning to end of this match, edge of your seat stuff, it's a testament to the newer generation of professional wrestling, which doesn't have to be very stop and pause, wait for the person to sell type deal or whatever the case is. It was nonstop, in your face, brash ass violence in the ring, and I can appreciate that. And thank you to both of those men for putting on the kind of match that they did, because it was awesome. We were all wrong in our predictions, by the way.
Yeah.
And thankfully so. So that was super dope, man. But StatKing, what was your take on this match, man?
This was incredible. It's crazy to think that on any other card, this would probably be match of the night.
Yeah.
That just in and of itself is incredible. This was, gosh, I almost want. I know we've seen Shingo and Moxley in the G1, and I now want to see Shingo, Moxley, Jeff Cobb in like just some kind of three-way for the NEVER Openweight title or something like that. If Kenta is able to pry the U.S. title from Moxley's hands, then somehow, some way, like that would just be amazing. Especially when you remember that Jeff Cobb was the mercenary that Jericho hired in AEW to take Moxley out. So seeing that would just be incredible. And this match just is I don't know, maybe that's the hallmark of the NEVER Openweight title now. It's just beautiful violence. Right. And that's just something that they've just continued with each successive champion. They've continued to up the ante with it, with Shingo against Suzuki, and now Shingo versus Jeff Cobb. This is, I think it was Kevin Kelly. He was saying, I want to see the rematch already. Like as soon as the match ended, he was like, I need to see this rematch. And that was incredible. Like just the way that Shingo knew anytime he's getting whipped to the ropes, Tour of the Islands can be coming, and you have to be ready for it. Just that level of preparation, that level of knot that he's showing in the match, just really, really great. I gave this one 4 3/4 stars as well. This, could have been match of the night anywhere. Would have been match of the night anywhere else.
And it didn't even, like, it wasn't just all action. It had a little bit of story as well, like late in the match, Shingo going after the knee of Jeff Cobb to kind of avoid the last couple of, like, Tour of the Islands, to kind of take advantage of that. Just great action, a good story, and just two of the very best who really, I just feel like both of these guys don't get enough credit for being two of the best wrestlers in the world, and they proved it on this night. So we followed things up from there with intermission. So we had our intermission after that match, and I think everybody needed it. Everybody needed a cigarette and a breath of fresh air after that certified banger extreme, as Jay News put it. And we followed things up with the second half of the card, and we had our grudge match between the former IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Champion Evil, with Dick Togo, as I affectionately called them, Evil Dick, versus Sonata. This one was a grudge match. These two men, former Los Ingobernables de Japón stablemates, former IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions and World Tag League winners twice. Evil, of course, turned on LIJ last year and joined the Bullet Club after the New Japan Cup 2020. And these two men had traded wins in the New Japan Cup and in the G1 Climax Climax 30 as Sonata defeated Evil in the B Block finals. This one was a different type of match. We had like more of like a slow start to this, with Evil kind of trying to dictate the pace, but Sonata would quickly try to get the advantage by picking things up, giving the planchas to both Dick Togo and Evil on the outside. Of course, Evil had his little chicanery using the steel chair home run at one point. Sonata, of course, going for the skull end constantly. But even though I will say, Sonata, just keep the skull end on, or just don't use it at all. I hate when he relinquishes it when he looks like he's gonna win to try to do the Muda moonsault. But this one really picked up in the second half of the matchup. Sonata blocked the low blow. He seemed like he was ready for all the typical stuff that Dick Togo and Evil would do. He blocked the spoilers choker, and Evil went into Dick Togo, and Dick Togo had the most hilarious bump of the night where he elbow dropped the table at ringside. And then finally, Sonata hit Everything Is Evil on Evil, and then he hit a pop-up TKO and hit the Mutasaur in nearly 24 minutes of action. This was a very good matchup, and I've said it before. I said it on Twitter. This was the most energized I've ever seen Sonata in a match, probably of its whole entire New Japan career, because we know he's the cold skull and he's calm and collected, but this was a lot of energy that he had in this match. I give this match 3 3/4 stars. What was your thoughts, StatKing?
I also gave this one 3 3/4 to 4 stars. I liked the story of just everything in this match, where Sonata is trying to, you see, like, almost because he knows he is Cold Skull, because he knows that's his personality, he's trying to hold back the level of rage that has been building for months and months since the betrayal. And then finally at the end, he's just like, you know what? Let's get this guy out of here. Like, let's get this revenge. Let's get this guy out of here. And that's almost a testament to it. It reinforces that Cold Skull personality and the character, because it's just, no matter what, even in a match where you would think he should snap, he's finding ways to stick with his game plan. He's finding ways to, like you're saying, if he's got the hold in, he's still going to go for that moonsault for no reason. He's still going to, like, there's just different things that make him who he is. And on the other side, you have somebody who is a perfect foil for him with Evil, where Evil is going to do things throughout the match, all those little quirks that he's going to do to try to get under Sonata's skin. And it's almost as though Evil is helping to continue build that anticipation for all of us watching, to say, hey, when is Sonata going to snap? When is Sonata going to snap? Whereas the previous match had incredible high energy and high physicality, this one almost seemed much more cerebral for a very good reason. And to me, I guess, like, it did bring it down a bit, because you were expecting, I guess, I don't know, we all were expecting the snap to happen a little bit earlier in the match than it ended up happening. But still, very good work for these guys, and it sets Sonata up for some promising things in the future. But I've spoken too long about Sonata winning this match. Jay News, sir, floor is yours.
Well, here's the thing. I'll say this. From an expectation standpoint, and this might surprise some people, star rating for me, I gave it I think from an overall storytelling standpoint for this specific match, I think this was the best story that they've told one-on-one between the two of them.
Yeah.
So I'll give them that. I gave the match also 3 3/4 stars as well. The reason as to why I didn't go any higher was because of my expectation of the match, expecting Sonata to finally snap during the match, because it was more of what the premissory phrase is called controlled anger, right? It wasn't that wild, vicious anger that we were getting from him post-match when it came to the tag team matches during Road to Tokyo show and stuff like that, or after the World Tag League and things of that nature, which is what made it exciting for the build towards the WrestleKingdom match, right? Because we wanted to see this wild and crazy version of Sonata. But like StatKing said, this reinforces the Cold Skull character. Not to say that I'm bored with it necessarily, but at the end of the day, it's like, you can get so much more out of a character for Sonata. Let's say if he was a little bit more violent, let's say, and or angry, a little bit more, let's just say, aggressive, right? I feel that, like I said, it was their best match storytelling wise, physicality as well. After the second part of the match, when they started to pick it up, I thought it was good too, as well, to see that there. I was partially right with what happened after this match, even though I didn't expect it to happen this way, right? So Sonata gets the win, which is fantastic. It's amazing or whatever. But I felt like I felt like the way that everything was transitioning, there was going to be more of a character change to Sonata, which would then eventually lead him down the road that he ended up at the end of the show, right? But now that he's still within the Cold Skull character, it just lends me to, I'm not too sure how it lends to what Ibushi wanted from Sonata, right? What he alluded to in previous shows, where Ibushi said that he wanted to face more of the real man, the Seiya Sonata, that the person, right? Not this Cold Skull character. So I don't know, there might be a more of a progressive build to that, or whatever the case is. But yeah, that's more or less my take on the match. I feel like Evil did his best iteration of who he is during this match, as currently constructed. And Dick Togo, that set up for the table bump, by the way. I don't know what was more obvious in anything that I've ever seen in my life. Like, he literally had to wait for Evil to hit him, and then the elbow dropped through the table, and then he basically stayed in position in the table for like a good extra minute. That was hilarious, to say the least. But 3 3/4 stars, good match here. On the way to the rest of the night, which, by God, I don't even know how I sat through the last two matches, because, geez, man.
Yes, things once again picked up. Got a shot of adrenaline with our semi-main event, as it was another member of Los Ingobernables de Japón, Hiromu Takahashi, the Best of the Super Juniors 27 winner, going one-on-one with the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Taiji Ishimori. These two men have gone at it quite a few number of times. It was Hiromu who beat Ishimori in the Best of the Super Juniors 26 finals, but of course Ishimori defeated Hiromu to become the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion at Summer Struggle in Janku. Takahashi did get the victory back in the Best of the Super Juniors before he beat El Phantasmo on day one to gain this opportunity. These guys just came out the gate fast. It was just breakneck speed from the opening bell. We had a series of reversals that led to the action going to the apron. Hiromu went for a sunset flip power bomb, which Ishimori flipped out similar to El Phantasmo on day one, but Takahashi was ready for him. Ishimori ran at Hiromu and he hit a pop-up power bomb to the apron. Hiromu then slammed Taiji on the ramp and then went up the ramp and tried to do like a shotgun running drop kick from the top of the ramp down, but Ishimori was ready for him and hit like a weird side suplex. Other than that spot being off time, everything they did was just on point, precise, and Ishimori did great work in the heat section, working over the shoulder of Takahashi, hit a 450 splash to Takahashi's shoulder, which looked like it snapped it immediately. He worked over the injured hand that El Phantasmo worked on night one. He constantly kept going back to the yes lock, like repeatedly. We had belly to belly suplexes into the corner. We had Hiromu reversing a handspring kick into a German suplex. suplex, but Ishimori came back with a Canadian destroyer. These guys were just going so hard hitting at the same time of having an insane pacing. Takahashi was bleeding from the nose towards the end of this matchup. Hiromu reversed a tilt-a-whirl into victory roll. He then hit a DVD into the exposed turnbuckle and then hit the time bomb for a very close near fall. After a couple of more reversals, Ishimori reversed victory roll into the yes lock once again, but Takahashi fought out. He reversed the bloody cross into a corkscrew victory roll and then hit time bomb to become the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion in over 25 minutes of action. It was just had insane pacing, awe-inspiring sequences, and like I said, it was just a hard-hitting affair. Great performance from these two men. I gave this match 4.5 stars. This is what junior heavyweight wrestling is all about, and Hiromu once again showed why he's one of the MVPs of New Japan, and Ishimori kept right up with them. What was your thoughts, J News?
I'd have to second the notion of the 4.5 stars of this match. I thought that, like you said, they started out at 100 miles an hour. It was a 25-minute match. They kept up that pace for 15 minutes. 15 minutes of 100 miles an hour's worth of wrestling. And then Ishimori took over. He slowed the match down. Hiromu kept up with that particular pace when it just came down to a lot more of the reversals and submissions after the second half, where Ishimori was picking Hiromu apart and whatnot. And it was just it was beautiful to see. It was wrestling within the context of the junior division at that high-paced rate, but at the same time, you got to see the contrasting styles of junior heavyweight wrestling. It was the high-octane, high-flying, but then you had the more technical mat-based stuff, and they mixed it all together. Hiromu still got his quirkiness and his overall character in there as well, which is what we love about Hiromu Takahashi. And I think that the sentiment that Kevin Kelly was mentioning in previous shows is real with Taiji Ishimori. The dude does not get the credit that he deserves. The dude keeps up with the best of them in that ring, and he proves as to why he's been given opportunity after opportunity being the junior heavyweight champion in New Japan and stuff like that, and in other promotions as well. This match was just it was something where I was like, we finally got the level of junior heavyweight match that I was expecting out of the majority of the Best of Super Junior tournament, right? Because that's usually when they showcase everybody and everybody gets to go do their bit. But there were just certain matches you can pick out of the entire tournament that did what this match did in a 25-minute span. Where does Hiromu go from here? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? He's the champ now, right? And at the end of the day, it's like, who's going to challenge him? He just beat Phantasmo. He just beat Ishimori. Who's going to challenge Hiromu now? Unless it's someone coming from the outside in. The guys who are currently on the roster. He just beat Desperado in the Best of Super, in the best, one of the matches of the year in 2021, or whatever the case is. It's like, who's else is Hiromu going to face come 2021 at this point? So that's left up to be seen. But terrific match here. I can't say anything bad about it at all. StatKing, sir, your thoughts on this exhausting match?
Yeah, like J News said, what was your thoughts?
So yeah, this one also, I'm with you guys. 4.5 stars for me. What I liked about this match was I saw a few people a little upset about day one with the junior match, saying that it was too slow. It was a little of a slower pace. And I don't know if this was always the plan, or maybe Hiromu saw that and said, all right, well, if it's slow, then fuck you. That's kind of been like a recurring theme for Hiromu over the past couple times we've seen him now, where it's just, okay, all right, you want to do this? I can do it. I can be better than you. And that's just what he showed in this match. As good as Taiji Ishimori is, there's a reason why Hiromu Takahashi is the ace of the junior heavyweight division. And that's taking nothing away from Ishimori, who, as the match was first happening, I'm thinking,
he's taken a little too long to be going after the hand. But then Ishimori, then the game plan starts to show, and it's like, no. I'm weakening these other parts so that when I do go to the hand, and he tries to protect the hand, now when I go after those parts that I've already softened up, it's even worse for him. And that is, to Jay News's point, that is showing contrasting styles in the junior heavyweight division, and it's just saying it's a lot more than what you think they can do. Yeah. And this was a great match in that sense because of the story of Ishimori coming into this with a game plan, and Hiromu saying, it doesn't matter what your game plan is. This is my moment. This is my time. I'm getting this championship back from you. And that's all there is to it. And the way that this match, just the pace that they were going at, just incredible. Incredible to see the level of athleticism with some of these moves. I mean, I don't know, like maybe that running shotgun dropkick attempt was just weird. And I don't know, like at first I thought he actually hit it and he connected. And then I'm like, wait, why is Hiromu selling and Ishimori isn't? And then all of a sudden Kevin Kelly's like, oh, wait, no, he countered it at the last second. I'm like, wait, let's see the replay on that. And then it's like, oh, he just turned him. He just turned him. Like, what is, I don't, okay. But, just phenomenal match. And again, this is another match that on any other card could have been match of the night. So 4.5 stars for me.
100% agree with you, and I get Jay News's question of who's next. I saw some chatter on the Twitter machine of people saying that maybe Leo Rush gets his wish comes on over to New Japan, and I would love to see Leo Rush versus Hiromu. I was able to also catch the post-match interview with Hiromu, and he did bring up that he's avenged his loss against Ishimori. He avenged his loss in the Best of the Super Juniors against El Desperado. There's only one guy that beat him in the Best of the Super Juniors, and that was Sho. So he wants to avenge that loss, and that would be an excellent way to kind of kick things off for Hiromu's fourth reign as IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. So my question now for you guys, because we heard Hiromu at the end saying that next year he's going to main event the Tokyo Dome. So do you see New Japan going that route, or do we possibly get like some type of other 2-night thing with the top title? What's your thoughts on Hiromu potentially main eventing the Tokyo Dome next year, StatKing?
I mean, if he's doing it as in the junior heavyweight division, that'll be interesting to see. It could be a situation where they do it as a night one. They give him night one, and then the heavyweight heavyweight championship have night two. But that would show an amazing leap forward for the division as a whole, and I think they can pull it off. I don't see a reason why they can't pull it off. I mean, they could even do. I mean, I know they wanted to do that originally with him versus Naito for the anniversary show, but it could be a situation where titles, the junior heavyweight and the heavyweight titles are settled on night one, and night two, the main event is the junior heavyweight champion versus the double gold champion. There's just in a non-title match or something like that. But I mean, maybe that doesn't have the same juice for like how to end the show. You usually want to end the show with the heavyweight championship being crowned or defended or whatever the case may be. But I'm sure they can find a way to be creative with it.
Yeah, I will have faith in New Japan more than anywhere else to kind of come up with a creative way to do it. How about you, Jay News?
I think that the ultimate story here for them going into WrestleKingdom 16 and finding a way to put the junior heavyweight championship in the main event is creating that next junior heavyweight star, right? Because they already have Hiromu. Hiromu is the ace. Now it's the next 12 months, they've got to build someone else up to as near to that level of fandom, or at least creativity in the ring, right? Someone that people will want to see to be in that main event with Hiromu. I don't necessarily think that they'll go the route of putting him in there against like the double champ or like the never openweight champ or whatever the case is. But they'll have to build someone to that level of Hiromu from a star power category, I guess you can say it from that light. I like the thought of Lio Rush coming into New Japan. I think that'll be great, especially with his ability to wrestle at 100 miles an hour like Hiromu does. A couple of the other guys who are on New Japan Strong. Blake Christian comes to mind just because he's a favorite of mine. But the dude can do some sick shit, and it's part of the junior heavyweight division lore of just how creative and how sick and how high flying it can get. So that would be interesting to see as well. But from what you just stated as well, SP, I didn't get to watch any of the post-match interviews just because that's something that I don't necessarily do until a couple of days later. Either it gets translated and it's easier for me to understand or whatever have you. But the take on Show coming to be his first opponent coming into 2021, I think is going to be quite the bit. If this is Show's road to Wrestle Kingdom 16, the build of Show being on another level, then hey, by all means, I'm all for it. So I think that's going to be cool. That's going to be dope. Can't necessarily take away from El Phantasmo. Maybe this is after Phantasmo loses to Hiromu, Phantasmo even takes it up another level. He just becomes that other gaijin heel in the company, especially in the junior heavyweight division, and he just takes it up to another level, and he creates a huge feud with Hiromu as well. So they have options. So it's not anything that I think they won't lack the creativity to create that big match, but they just have to put it on center stage, right? They can't make it secondary. They can't make it the third match of the night now for their main events, right? So for New Beginning, the Junior Heavyweight Championship can't be at the beginning of the card, right? It's got to be the semi-main or the main for one of these shows and stuff like that. The Best of Super Junior tournament in 2021 has got to be huge. It's got to be international. Things of that nature, just from an overall business perspective, in order for Hiromu to meet that goal of him wanting to be in the main event at Wrestle Kingdom 16. So yeah. Those are my thoughts on that.
And there's other people we gotta take into account because Ryu Lee was supposed to be in the Best of the Super Juniors tournament. He had a little situation where he had to go. There's also guys like Bandito, who's been in New Japan before. And if we're putting in our fantasy booker hats, where we're talking about what's to come with Ibushi and his former Golden Lover teammate Kenny Omega, if there's potentially a partnership between New Japan and AEW, my dream list of dream matches would be Hiromu versus Pac. That just screams. That's like screams Tokyo Dome type of main event right there. So there's a lot of things on the come up for New Japan Pro Wrestling, so we can't take those out of the account right now. But right now, we gotta move on to the final match of the entire New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 15 two-night event. Our main event, Kota Ibushi defending his newly won IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental Championships against Switchblade Jay White. White, of course, earned this opportunity by beating Ibushi at Power Struggle, becoming the one in 16-1 for his G1 Climax 30 right to challenge contract, the first man to beat the G1 Climax winner and take the briefcase. Ibushi, of course, defeated Tetsuya Naito on day one of Wrestle Kingdom 15 to win the IWGP Dual Gold. Ibushi defeated White actually in the finals of the G1 Climax 29. But ever since Wrestle Kingdom 14, Jay White has won 3 straight against Kota Ibushi. So a lot of history here between the two men. Early on, of course, Gato was getting involved, giving White the early advantage, and White just came in with a superb game plan. He kind of used all the things that he has beaten Ibushi with before, attacking the ankle like he did in the G1 Climax 29 finals, and attacking the knee like he did in this year's G1. He also attacked the ribs of Kota Ibushi like he did at Power Struggle. We had a bunch of callbacks to their old matches. You had Switchblade try to do the backslide with the feet on the rope, but this time the Red Shoes was actually on point. Red Shoes did his job as a referee, and you got to give it to Red Shoes. You know, when he can actually be a referee and actually pull it off, I credit him for that and being aware that Switchblade was going to do that. But Switchblade just constantly attacked the ribs, and that just really slowed down Ibushi, and it was an excellent game plan because Ibushi went 31 minutes with Tetsuya Naito, so he was kind of hurting at his stamina and not being able to like keep up with Switchblade for a long period of time. He, like you said, he attacked the legs, he hit dragon screws, applied the TTO or the ITO, the Ibushi tap out, but Ibushi kept fighting, kept getting to the ropes. At one point, White started playing with Ibushi, just kind of playful, kicking at Ibushi's face, which of course angered the Golden Star and brought out the dark Ibushi or murder Ibushi, and he went to the dark side with palm strikes and stiff kicks. At one point, this was a great moment in the match. Jay White just wanted to give up. He laid down and begged Ibushi to pin him, and Kota just started slapping him and raining down strikes. But of course, this worked out in White's advantage in the end as the referee tried to pull off Ibushi, and Ibushi pushed the referee, and that gave White the opportunity to hit a low blow. So he continued the attack on the ribs on the outside using the guardrail and the apron. This was just a masterful heel performance, just in his ability to kind of get a reaction from the crowd, even with the restrictions, and the way he just constantly grounded Ibushi and just stuck to his game plan throughout this. He had sick sleeper suplexes on Ibushi's head just repeatedly a whole bunch of times. He tried to do a sleeper suplex on the apron, but Ibushi reversed out of it, and he hit a deadlift German suplex from the apron to inside of the ring in a great moment. He followed that up with the last ride sit out powerbomb for a great near fall. White reversed a Kamigoye into the sleeper suplex with Ibushi landing on his head. He then followed up with the Regal Plex. Ibushi reversed Blade Runner into the Kamigoye for a great near fall there. Ibushi went for the Phoenix Splash, and he hit it, and Gato then pulled the referee out of the ring. Gato tried to hit him with the brass knuck shot, but Ibushi caught him and hit the Kamigoye in another great moment. From there, Ibushi put the referee back into the ring, and Switchblade caught him with the Blade Runner for another one of the best near falls I've seen in quite some time. I've heard somebody put it up there, and I would say, yeah, it's probably right behind maybe the near fall from WrestleMania 28 with Undertaker and Triple H when they hit the super kick into the pedigree. Like, it was that type of close and had you like, whoa, I thought the match was actually over there. Ibushi used the V trigger at one point, and then in the end, he used the Kamigoye to the back of the head and then to the front, 3 Kamigoyes, and finally got the win in over 48 minutes. This set the record for the longest match in Tokyo Dome history, breaking Okada and Omega's classic from 4 years ago now. This was, my God, I've seen Ibushi in so many great matches, but this was the greatest match of Switchblade Jay White's career. I will start with you, J News, with your star rating and your thoughts on this match.
What was your star rating?
I'm gonna go last this time. I went first for all the other matches. I'm gonna go last for this one. I want to hear your guys first.
So first things first, we spoke about this yesterday via text as well. And we spoke about this during the live stream where we said that this had to be Jay White's best showing. It had to be his best match. And he delivered from beginning to end. Jay White at 27, 28 years old is on top of his game. There is no discounting that. There is no one who can tell me that this young man does not have it in the wrestling business. The man can cut a promo. The man can make the fans hate him, make them love him. He is a true wizard in the ring with his counter wrestling. If we believe Zack Sabre Jr. to be one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time and reversal wrestlers, counter wrestling has met its match with Jay White. There is just no one else in the industry like him. It was, to coin a phrase that was popular just 3 years ago, it was glorious to see the way that Jay White went about this match with the intricate game plan that he went about it. But as I said yesterday, and I cut it short because I wanted to go on my soliloquy about Sonata, God was in that ring. God won his match. God was the one who was going to take it to another level. And I've been a fan of Kota Ibushi since, man, the first match I think I ever saw of him was that triple threat between him, Devitt, and I think it was Ricochet from like 2011 or something like that, or whatever the case is. And I was floored by what this guy could do. I was like, man, this is just crazy, or whatever. And then to see him 9-10 years later be at this level, and he's 37, 38 years old at this point.
Yeah.
He's going like a freaking 20-something-year-old. You know what I'm saying? It's insane. It's insane. But I have to say this, and I say this with a smile on my face. God was in that match because God was needed and he was necessary, because 2021 is going to bring us all where we want to be. That's right. Ibushi won his match because we're going to get it at WrestleKingdom. Oh, yeah, that's right. The two of you understand where I'm going with this. Right. We're going to get it at WrestleKingdom 16. It will be Kota Ibushi versus the cleaner Kenny Omega at WrestleKingdom 16. I am calling it now. There's just no way about it. I feel like it wouldn't do Ibushi, even if it doesn't come true. That's just me fantasy booking. It wouldn't do Ibushi service to have a short reign. I feel like even if it doesn't come to be any sort of partnership with AEW, Ibushi needs a long, substantial, and valid reign as double champ in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And the reason as to why I say that is because of something that Kevin Kelly said that was very important. Ibushi's not a New Japan guy. He didn't come from the dojo system. He worked his way from wrestling on the streets and back alleys and everything in between, and you would have never known it because of how hard he works and the kinds of matches that he pulls off and characterization and everything in between and all that. It's awesome. And how to me, it's like, this is what a babyface in 2021 looks like.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time when we watch it and when we watch our wrestling here in America, it's like, oh, well, you know, this guy's a tweener or he's a babyface now, but they got to turn him heel and he's got to flip-flop for the entire year or whatever the case is. He's going to be a face now, he's going to be a heel. Like, no, like Ibushi is Ibushi and he's always been a face. Like, and even when he becomes Murder Ibushi, people thrive on that. The fans pick up on that and they love it. You know what I'm saying? Some other people call it trans Ibushi when he gets into that trans. But it's part of the character that makes him so likable, and it equates to, you know, all the freaking anime shit they use for him. He has a spirit bomb and now he's Super Saiyan level. He's such a freaking face, and this is how you do a baby face in 2021 and whatnot. Have so many different layers to him because people are complex, and having a complex character be the top baby face of your company and also be the champion New Japan did it right. They did it right, and they've done right by Ibushi, and I think that's what I wanted to get out of this. From a star rating standpoint, I went the Uncle Dave route, and I gave this a 6-star rating.
He broke the scale.
He broke the freaking scale. The reason as to why I chose the 6-star thing, obviously he went 48 minutes in this match. He went 35 minutes the night before. There were 2 stories back to back of him getting over the hump with Naito and finally getting the championship, and then this story where he finally thwarted the biggest heel in the company, right? And retaining and reaching that god level that he said he needed to reach, and the coronation was or the recoronation and his retainment was that much sweeter at the end of the show. But I also have to mention this before I hand it off to the StatKing. After the match was over, that gentleman is when I said this match is what needed to happen. And yet again, to point this out, because I don't know who dresses the men and the women at New Japan, but man, was Sonata dapper inside that ring when he came down with that suit. That shit was that suit, man. Listen, anyways, yeah, man, I didn't figure for Sonata to come out after Ibushi's win. I figured that to come at another show. It happened at WrestleKingdom. Sonata basically challenged Ibushi to a match because he's basically the number 1 contender to the double gold. And Ibushi told Sonata, "Hey man, thanks, but not right now. I got you later. Don't worry about it." You know what I'm saying? It'll happen down the road. And that goes back to my point of alluding to Ibushi wanting to face Seiya Sonata and not Cold Skull. So I feel like it still has that potential of Ibushi wanting to face this more emotionally charged, aggressive version of Sonata that he has not gotten yet. So that'll be something to see, because it was one thing for Sonata to be betrayed by Evil and him to be a little bit more aggressive and get this win in the best of suit in WrestleKingdom. But I think that Ibushi in his head, or at least from a characterization standpoint, from a storyline standpoint, is saying, I need another level of Sonata in order for you to compete for this double gold. So that's why he said, I'll give you a match, just not right now. So I took that away from that moment. And that was awesome. Also, to end this, and I agree with you because that's the only post. Sid, I agree with you because this is the only post-match interview that I saw. Jay White's post-match press conference.
Oh, we were going to get to that. All right, StatKing, what was your thoughts on the main event and your star rating?
Oof. It takes 2 to dance. It takes 2 to dance. And on that night, the 2 people best equipped to dance with each other danced. You had Jay White pulling off some of the best heel work I've seen in a long time. And it's crazy because usually some of the best heel work I've seen already comes from Jay White. But he found a way to do it even better, to the point that I am a Jay White fan, but like a part of me hated, like, was like, oh, what, like, I felt bad for him, but at the same time, I was like, he kind of deserves it, and I'm a Jay White fan. Like, it was like I don't know how to really put it into words. Like, this was a masterpiece from both of them, from just the mannerisms of Jay White, starting off with the usual thing where he rolls out of the ring and he says, on my time, we do this on my time. And Ibushi saying, well, we do you do things on your time, but tonight you got to do things on my time. And Jay White just finding ways to just needle Ibushi. Between Ibushi and Okada, I don't know who I like it more when the person just starts hitting them and they just keep no-selling it and no-selling it, and slowly builds up. I don't know who I like it more between, but Ibushi definitely nailed it, because Jay is just kicking him, just, like, why, just, and Ibushi's like, I mean, you want to keep doing this, but I am going to murder you now. Like, that's what has to happen. And this was an incredible match. I don't know. I can't personally put this in a break the scale rating, because I don't know how to really go above 5 stars in that sense of what makes that determination. It's difficult. So this is a 5-star match for me, but I think this is easily going to be at the top of the list for match of the year contendership. And I don't know what exactly somebody's going to have to do in order to top this. In order to knock this out of first place, January 5th, we already had it. Like, that's incredible. And that's usually sometimes is the case with WrestleKingdom. That can happen a lot. Because, as JBL is fond of saying, you wrestle as though you're in somebody else's body. And that's something that Ibushi does very well. And Jay White did that this year, because he just to the point of like, after everything he did to try to kill God, he was like, I'm done, pin me. Like, let's just get this over with. I don't want any more of this. I don't want any more of this pain. And then somehow he's like, but I'll still low blow you and keep this match going. And it's just like, God damn it, man. Like, why are you putting yourself through this? Why are you putting yourself? And that's, we're gonna get to that the post match interview. But Ibushi, I need to see that Ibushi Omega match. I don't know what we need to sacrifice to who, but we need to see that match. And that is just going to be absolutely phenomenal, because Kota Ibushi is, to Jay News's point, the quintessential babyface. And we know that Kenny Omega can be the quintessential heel. And we just saw what happens when the quintessential babyface goes up against a quintessential heel. Can they top it? I don't know, but I need to see that match. And just incredible kudos to both of these men for pulling off this match, and Jay White cementing himself as one of the best in the business.
I couldn't agree with both of you any more than everything you guys said. Like Jay News said, Jay White, not even just from bell to bell, before the bell, the way he came out, his swagger with the all white, his all white clean, the same outfit that he wore to defeat Okada 2 years ago at WrestleKingdom, to when Ibushi's coming down to the ring, him holding up the briefcase and saying, you remember how I got this? And then using the way he got it, the game plan that he used with attacking the ribs. It was just I said this on Wrestling Daily. The 2 greatest heels in the business as far as working a matchup that I've ever seen, and the year that they were at their absolute peak and they were the most perfect, is Triple H in 2000 and Ric Flair in 1989. I haven't seen anyone meet that standard until January 5th, 2021. Jay White was on that type of level as a heel, from his facial expressions to his selling to his body language to the trash talking, him, like you said, with the whole quitting and then hitting the low blow and then telling the referee, telling Red Shoes, he's the one that hit you, you shouldn't be mad at me, he's the one that hit you, and then hitting him on the outside, attacking the ribs, attacking it on the guardrail, attacking it on the apron, saying fuck you, this is for you, Red Shoes, fuck you. It was just a masterclass of how to be a heel and work the perfect match as a heel and get as much emotion from the crowd as well as your opponent as you possibly can. But also, like Jay New said, he was in the ring with an absolute god. I think that Kota Ibushi is someone who has been one of the best wrestlers in the world for over a decade now. And he just still does not get enough credit for how great he is in the ring. Like, people talk about the awe-inspiring type of moves that he does, and they talk about the story with Omega, but they don't talk about how amazing, how tremendous, how magnificent this man is at selling. He just had absolute impeccable selling in this match, from selling his ribs to selling the knee to the murder Ibushi trance, just everything. He took you on an absolute ride. He is just a pure artist in how to get that type of emotion out of a pro wrestling matchup, and he is just another level of professional wrestling. I thought this match was simply outstanding, epic. This was an epic encounter. When you talk about epic encounters in professional wrestling, this is it. It was just so emotionally driven. You had amazing storytelling, impeccable selling, superb pacing. This was this is what Tokyo Dome, WrestleKingdom main events, everything you can ask for in it. Like, literally every single thing that makes a perfect match, a flawless match, was in here. You had just two tremendous workers. You had you just had marvelous work rate throughout this, long-term storytelling, long-term build-up and narrative throughout this, and then the absolute incredible closing sequence. I'm sorry, I've only broke the Meltzer scale on one occasion. Okada Omega 4, the final conclusion of the 69-minute matchup. I'm breaking the scale once again. This is 6 stars. This was simply amazing. Like, Okada and Ospreay, like I said, I gave it 4 3/4 on our review. In retrospect, I wish I would have gone 5 there, and I probably will give it 5 stars. That was a 5-star matchup. They set the bar high, and then White and Ibushi just broke it. This was the perfect heel versus babyface type of matchup, and they set that bar two years ago with G1 Climax 29, because I said that then when they met in the finals, and that was a 5-star match, but they exceeded that. 48 minutes, the longest match in Tokyo Dome history. Man, there's no words. There's just no words. I've ran out of words to use for this match. This was just the greatest. This is one of the greatest matchups I've ever seen in my life. So, guys, we got to talk about the post-match. First of all, we got to talk about the selling of Jay White and the great camera angle by New Japan. And New Japan doesn't get enough credit for their camera angles and the way they just capture moments. But the camera angle from the ring level of seeing the titles in the ring, and then you saw Jay White kind of crawling to it, trying to reach at it like he didn't realize that he had lost. And then when they're handing the titles to Ibushi, he's trying to grab at Ibushi to the point that the Young Lions have to like pull him away. You had Sonata come down, the cool, calm, and collected Sonata respectfully challenging Kota Ibushi accepting, and then Sonata. I kind of disagree with the J News. I didn't think it was Ibushi saying not right now. It was Sonata saying not right now. I'm gonna let you celebrate. I'm cool, calm. I got what I wanted. I'm out of here. And then Ibushi kind of doing the celebratory promo. And then we had the post-match interview with Jay White. Like you said, J News, Oscar-worthy, Shakespearean in him starting out despondent and just heartbroken over what he had not been able to achieve. Him laughing at it like, oh, you guys are happy. You guys are happy now. You guys are happy. I didn't realize my destino last year. I didn't realize my destino this year. And then him just being angry with everything, thinking about his whole career. I've been here 8 years, and then just passing out on the floor. And then the final line, will you fucking help me? Like, it was an acting class in every single way possible. That was a clinic on how to be a heel and respond to the biggest loss of your career. But we also, on the other hand, had Kota Ibushi kind of just saying that he is God now. He even said, this is why I wanted to point out that he wasn't the one that said that he didn't want to fight Sonata, because he actually said in his post-match interview, he was like, yeah, I could have fought him today. He was like, I'm God. He's like, I'm God. I'm God. I could have fought him today. Like, he was like, the media is just like, dude, you just went 80 minutes over 2 nights, 80 minutes in 2 of the greatest Tokyo Dome main events ever. And he's like, yeah, I'm God though. And then him said that he's requesting to unify the 2 titles. So first of all, guys, what was your thoughts on Jay White's interview, and what do you think it means with him saying that after New Year's Dash, that's it, he's going to quit New Japan or quit the professional wrestling business? We don't know how he's saying this, but what do you think is going to be the outcome for Jay White? Jay News.
So I'm gonna keep this one short and whatnot because I gotta run quickly. First things first, for anyone who has been on the internet or social media within the last 24 hours since Night 2 took place, if any websites have run with the idea that Jay White is going to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling, they are clickbaiting you, they are fishing for stories, and they are not reputable sources. If you are not aware that this is part of a larger story, you're a dumbass, and you deserve to get your wrestling fandom card pulled at the end of the day, because that is just stupid work by anyone who thinks that this is a legit thing, that Jay White's going to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling at the peak of his career and at the peak of his freaking stardom and after his best match in his career. There's just no way that that's going to happen. Besides all that, I need to see Jay White take some opportunities outside of New Japan Pro Wrestling, maybe some films here and there, TV shows maybe. The man is gifted. He definitely knows how to put on a show and make you feel a certain way for him. Even as a heel, he made me empathize with his loss. I felt bad for him. I felt bad for him because it's like, well, yeah, you put in the work, kiddo, but it's like Sid said. You were in there with God. There's just no way going around it. It's like, for people who read comic books, it's like Constantine versus the one above all, or whatever the case is, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So, that shows my geekdom, but hey, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, stellar, masterful things. And for all intents and purposes, for Ibushi, during his post-match interview, to just have the effervescence, the godly, the deity that is Ibushi now, just saying, I'm God, I can still go right now. Give me Sonata. And I was like, whoa, where are we going with these characters right now? This is different. It's different stuff, and I loved it. And I cheese about it because it's like, we haven't gotten this in wrestling in how long, really, from a character standpoint. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm invested in this stuff because it's like, not only is the in-ring work amazing, but the character work first of all, it feels organic. It's not forced. And you know these guys are going from the gut. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, this is what pro wrestling is supposed to be. So this is like a post-match interview. The matches, everything in between. I can't wait for what New Japan has to offer in 2021. And yeah, Jay White, my friend, I've been a fan of yours. I will continue to be a fan of yours. I will continue to be the guy who loves to hate you. But at the end of the day, I will always give you your flowers, sir. New Zealand's finest, to say the least. And there are a lot of good wrestlers out of New Zealand. Yeah, I got nothing else. StatKing, your thoughts.
I almost liked the promo more than the match, which is insane. Just insane. You saw a man spiraling. You saw a man losing it. The reason why he kept saying over and over again, "Are none of you going to help me?" is because Gato was not there.
Yeah.
why was Gedo not there? Like, there's just so it's not even like what is happening. It's what's not happening. The fact that Gedo is not there, and this is just that promo was probably, I think, the best promo I've seen in years. Like, because it's incredible to see what happens when management lets people develop their characters, lets people know people understand and know their characters, and then management trusts them to do their job. And it's almost a situation where management is okay with people arguably becoming bigger than the company. If this was real and Jay White is saying, I'm done with New Japan, like, there's nothing left for me to, what is there more for me to do? Maybe I need to go somewhere else. It's makes complete and total sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if he does leave, if he pops up on NXT, it works. It does what it's supposed to do. If Kota Ibushi said, if you're not going to unify the titles, then I don't want these things. I'm bigger than this. You got to start listening to me because I am God. I'm going to go somewhere else. It makes sense because that's just what they have allowed them to do, and they are trusting their talent to do what needs to be done, and that's just incredible. This promo was outstanding. Just, you kind of saw him go through like all 7 stages, like anger, denial, like just finally acceptance of, what's the line from No Church in the Wild? What's a king to a god? He was King Switch. He was King Switch. That's the shirt. What's a king to a god? And so now what has to happen? What is God to a non-believer? And in this situation, it's not even the fact that Jay White doesn't believe that Kota Ibushi is God. It's Jay White doesn't believe in himself.
Right.
And what happens when you lose faith in yourself? What do you become? That's his journey now, to see what that's going to be. And he says it. I'm contractually obligated to show up at New Year's Dash. But after that, I don't know what's going to happen. So, hey, we shall see what happens. I honestly don't think that they should unify the 2 titles. I think that they are better being separated, and I kind of hope that they continue it that way so that when they are eventually separated, it continues to elevate the Intercontinental Championship to a secondary title, like not even secondary, like a basically a co-world title almost with the World Championship. So I do hope that they don't unify it, but also Ibushi is just insane, saying that he'd be willing to fight Sonata in this moment. I don't know if that's we talk about, because usually when people in wrestling say that they are a god, like, what the CM Punk, your arms are too short to box with God, JBL, I'm a wrestling god, it means that they're a heel. It means that they are somebody who needs to get taken down a peg. And in a sense, are we kind of seeing a babyface version of that, where it's that level of hubris of I am a god, but if I'm finding ways to back it up, is it really bad? And that's going to be something interesting with Ibushi going forward. Those 2 promos just set the tone for arguably the 2 top stars, because I don't know if we can say Jay White is the top star. Well, we know Kota Ibushi is right now because he has the championships, but it sets the tone for what the stories are going to be for the 2 top stars of the company. And it's going to be a good 2021 if that's the case.
100% facts. Great stuff all around. Godlike performance from Ibushi and a masterclass from Jay White. Let's give thumbs up or thumbs down for New Japan Pro Wrestling WrestleKingdom 15 Day 2 in 3, 2, 1. I think it's unanimous on their match of the night. I think we're also unanimous. It was the main event, Ibushi versus Jay White. Yes. MVP of the night, I am going to go with Jay White. I know that Ibushi is a god, but Jay White had the greatest match of his career.
For sure.
I agree there as well.
I agree with you there.
LVP of the night, I am going to go with Master Wato. Like I said, he's the only guy on the show that just didn't feel like he was Tokyo Dome worthy. J News.
Oh man. LVP of the night, because he wasn't there. Gato. What happened to Gato? Gato was not there to help Jay White at the end. He needs the help. Gato, where are you, Booker, man? Where are you?
StatKing.
I kind of want to go with Master Wato as well. Part of me also wants to go with Bushi just for not being involved, like almost at all.
Yeah. He took the loss.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll go with Master Wato as well.
And out of 10, what do you give this show? I'm going to go 9.5 out of 10. Like I said, it was very close to a 10 out of 10, a perfect show. Because of those first two matches, that's why I dropped it down just a bit. But the highest rating I've ever given for a whole show, 9.5 out of 10. StatKing.
I don't know if we can give day one a 9 and not give this one higher, so 9.5.
Yeah, I would say that this one gets a good 9.5 as well. There's no ifs, ands, or buts at this point.
Absolutely. And J News, thank you, good brother, for being on here. StatKing, you as well. Of course, for all of you watching, put down in the comment section below your MVP, LVP, match of the night, and what you gave New Japan Pro Wrestling WrestleKingdom 15, Day 2. And what did you think was the better show, Day 1 or Day 2? I think we all agree Day 2 was the better show, but let us know what you think. J News, where can they find you on social media and right here on the THH YouTube channel?
Well, social media, that'll be _John J, JONJAY for all that Instagram stuff. I'm not on the Twitter machine. Don't look for me on the Twitter machine. I am not in that line of business. You can always catch me here. That's right here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. Make sure that everyone always likes, shares, comments, and subscribes, because we're always going to be here for you. You got to come back and always watch the shows, folks, because that's what we're here for. You know what I'm saying? So thank you for watching, everybody. And StatKing, sir.
You can catch me on Facebook in our True Heels group page, getting into arguments people I should not be getting into with. And you can catch me here covering almost everything that happens on Tuesdays with AEW Dark and NWA UWN. And you can catch me with my co-host, the 3-time baby-making champ, Ness, covering everything that happens in a Ring of Honor ring. And guys, let's not forget, we've been praising Jay White this whole time, but where did Jay White go on his excursion? That's right, it's Ring of Honor. And you can catch up with everything that happens in Ring of Honor with Review of Honor with Ness and myself. And you never know, we might be talking about the next Jay White, the future top heel on those episodes. The only way to find out is if you tune in. Thanks for having me again, Sid.
Of course, you can find me on Instagram at TrueHeel_EpicSP3. You can find me on the Wrestle2 YouTube channel live every single Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. BST on Wrestling Daily with Alex McCarthy. Check out this week where I'm on the show twice with Louis Dan Gore. We talk about Goldberg, WWE Raw, and I gave my thoughts on Wrestle Kingdoms Day 1 and Day 2 over there. And of course, you can find me every single Saturday right here on the True Heel Heat YouTube channel with our weekly podcast with Miss Chrissy Love and Top Guy JJ. Like this video, share this video with all your wrestling fans and friends. Push the iCard down at the bottom to subscribe, the bell below that to press all for all notifications for all the great content right here on True Heel Heat. It is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3 for J News, for the StatKing. This has been New Japan Pro Wrestling WrestleKingdom 15 Day 2 Roundtable Review. We are signing off until next time.
Peace.